morning, everyone. Welcome. A short Buddhist chant to begin our session. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. That's a small chant that's paying homage, respect to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. The Buddha being the enlightened teacher, the Dhamma being the wisdom teachings that lead to enlightenment, and Sangha being the community of those people who have realized full, complete spiritual enlightenment. So welcome to this day, a significant day. Any day is significant if we can be mindful. So certainly today, a mindful day to be here, to connect, to share one's presence, and share the appreciation, aspiration towards developing the quality of our mind, heart, through meditation, and particularly in the context of our Vassa Retreat period, the 10 spiritual virtues, the Paramita, which I'll be talking about today and over the next 3 other retreat days, the Vassa Retreat. So just a bit of a brief on the Vassa Retreat. Vassa is a Pali word that relates to the monsoon rainy season, which certainly Southeast Asia is having at the moment. It's from the full moon of July through until the full moon of October. And so this is a retreat period which I would see is probably one of the oldest ongoing retreats that have occurred in the history of humanity. So it's been happening every year for the last 2,600 years. So this period of time, the Buddha designated as a special time for monastics, monks and nuns, and other people that are wanting to develop, deepen, define, refine their practice, to make a commitment to use this block of time to exert extra effort for meditation practice, for being mindful in day-to-day life, maybe also some studying spiritual teachings, some learnings, and also maybe engaging other supportive practices that can be put into that one's day-to-day life over that 3-month period. Psychologically, 3 months is a good amount of time, 12 weeks to change some old habits, not necessarily bad habits, but old habits, develop some good new habits, and to keep them going beyond the 3-month period as well. So I look forward each year to the Vassa Retreat period to deepen and develop my own meditation practice, and also to choose a particular theme for study, for learning, developing more wisdom, insight, appreciations of the Buddha's teachings and how they apply to our regular life now in the 21st century, which stands testament to the beauty and the worth of these teachings, because they were given 2,500 years ago, but they still resonate and relate to our life, our mind, our experience of being alive as a human being now, and probably into the future as well. So our Vassa Retreat period for ourselves, we're not monastics, and so it's not a residential retreat, but we can see that, okay, 3 months punctuated with 4 Sunday meditation sessions, together with maybe attending the Thursday night meditation group that we have here each week, to develop meditation, something that's significant and important for us in terms of developing the quality of our mind, the quality of our consciousness. I've said many times that our whole experience of life relates to the quality of our consciousness. When that is diminished, distressed, depressed, dulled, then it affects our engagement and experience of life. The Buddha said one of the most wonderful, worthwhile things a human being can do is to develop the quality of their mind, particularly through meditation. So certainly over our 4 retreat days, once a month, developing meditation, being mindful, and as well reflecting upon the 10 spiritual virtues. I sent out a week or so ago, I think most of you probably would have got it, the email that had a couple of attachments. One was this chart, which was basically a chart with 90 days on it. So to tick or write in that you've done your meditation or you've done your exercise, whatever you might say, I'm doing extra. I do meditation every day, but I'm going to sort of focus on doing some exercises or getting to bed earlier or waking up earlier. So basically you can check that how you're going. And also there was the what are actually course notes. These notes here that was sent out, about 55 pages. If you didn't get them, let maybe Justin at the back know so we can send them on to you. And there are certainly people that are on our session today, but they're not able to be here, so they'll be watching through Zoom. So welcome to those people that are connecting different places. But with the notes, they're notes that I made up a number of years ago for, I think it was a 9-week course on the 10 spiritual virtues. So the course doesn't quite relate to how we're breaking it up into 4 sessions for the Vassa Retreat, but there's lots of good information there that goes through what these 10 virtues are about. They're listed on this chart here. Welcome to take a photograph of that if you like. And I'd even recommend, if you can, to learn them off by heart, so that it becomes something that you're aware of, something that you know that you can recall. And this relates to what the paramita actually are. Obviously, that's an Eastern word. The word paramita is actually Sanskrit, which has also a derivation in Pali. Pali is the ancient Indian language of early Buddhism. The Pali word is parami. I'm more familiar with using the word paramita. So I initially learnt about the 10 virtues as paramita. And the word paramita, I feel, resonates a bit more with what they actually are. So para means, like the English word paramount, great or greatly. And mita is from the word mitra, which means friend. So these become great friends, a great support, great companions on our journey through life. So it's always important to have these paramita, these great friends with you, in you, even as you, to support you through some of the challenges that life brings up. In a way, the appreciation, the perspective, even as a life perspective, and the practice of the paramita itself becomes the perfect practice. Perfect practice. I was thinking about this over the last couple of days, where there's a lot of spiritual practices that may be more specific to being on a meditation retreat in a monastery, or specific to doing the meditation. But the paramita as a practice and as a perspective, as an approach, as an attitude, is something that we can bring into any day, every day, regular real life that we're leading, because they basically are virtues, they're values, they're qualities, they're also aspirations, things that we can aspire to in terms of these qualities. They're for most of us, for all of us, they're qualities that we do have already to some degree. They're qualities that we would use in our day-to-day life to some degree. But by becoming more aware of them and the appreciation of how to use them, we actually exercise and strengthen them, so they become more who we are, how we are, what we are, and how we then relate, engage, and interface with regular life. So rather than interfacing and relating to regular life with reacting, resisting, denying, distracting, feeling infuriated, feeling frustrated, feeling anxious, feeling angry, distressed, depressed, we can relate through these qualities, and by using them, they become stronger. The appreciation of where the attention goes, the energy flows. So the more we're putting the attention onto energizing, exercising, engaging, enhancing these virtues, they become our way of being in the world, which also then becomes not just a gift to ourselves as we psychologically, psycho-spiritually improve, but they become a gift to others that we're relating to, so that maybe we're less overwhelmed, less stressed, less frustrated, less reactive, more calm, more composed, more generous, more appreciative, more forgiving, etc. But also to the world at large. It becomes a great gift to the world at large that human beings, ourselves in particular, can be engaging from these spiritual virtues rather than the usual ways of the world, which are caught up in what the Buddha spoke about as the three ills: fundamental greed or desire, wanting; secondly, aversion, anger, hatred; and thirdly, ignorance or delusion, confusion. So we're relating from these qualities rather than basic primal greed, anger, ignorance. And that's our gift to ourselves, gift to others, gift to the world at large. So in this way, the paramita becomes something quite special, as an ongoing appreciation and practice for regular life, so that we don't need to be just doing the meditation. That's when I'm practicing, but we're out and about in the street, on the road, at work, at some sort of outing situation. We're engaging these particular qualities. As a bit of a brief on how we can use them, the first is what I call making the moment meaningful. Life is an ongoing collection of present moments, often that we're not that present for them. But if we see that in situations, any situation, it's an opportunity to be more aware and to be wise, to engage these spiritual virtues, then what might be otherwise seen as, well, that was a waste of time, or I don't want to have to deal with this situation, or I don't find those people sort of worthwhile or interesting, or but we go, okay, well, actually, I can bring and resource particular qualities, these particular 10 spiritual virtues, into this situation. So I'm growing in patience, or growing in kindness, or growing in calm composure, equanimity, or I'm growing in generosity, or I'm growing in letting go, not getting caught up, renunciation, so that situations that are otherwise missed, not appreciated, become meaningful because they're an opportunity to grow in these virtues. So there's no situation that otherwise can't be used for developing one or a number of these virtues. In a way, and we'll be sort of looking at this over the course of our retreat period, they become a little bit like what I call psycho-spiritual medicine. Psycho-spiritual medicine, even where you might go, okay, Monday, I've got to give a talk, I've got to sort of do something significant, presentation, I'm feeling a bit uneased about it. What qualities do I need to resource as psychological medicine to help me to get through this situation? It might be, well, I need a big dose of patience. I need a quarter dose of energy. I need a half dose of generosity. So it's like you're making up this psychological medicine to help you in the situation, and just reminding ourselves to resource those, and that we can use the situation that may be challenging, difficult, unpleasant, don't want to be there, but chance to grow through this. And certainly As the Buddha said, human beings are the unfinished creature. As long as we're not fully enlightened, there's still more work to be done. So that, yes, as a species, we're even still evolving physically over time, but individually, we're evolving as well through the course of our life and evolving through developing these spiritual virtues and qualities. And so that, again, making the moment meaningful, where we can grow over time, becoming better, more wiser, more peaceful, more kind human beings. And that's even making life meaningful. Because otherwise, life can be just a lot of the sort of somewhat the same thing. Here we go again, another week, looking forward to another weekend, day in, day out, humdrum. But a whole different take on our life is it's meaningful because I get the chance to grow in these 10 spiritual virtues. Second appreciation of the Ten Paramita is what I call the ecology of experience. The ecology of experience. And here, we talk about the importance of protecting, preserving the environment, ecology, environmentalism. Certainly the environment needs that because we are, physically very much the environment, and we are a mobile nature. We are an expression of nature, and therefore to protect and preserve nature, but also to see the ecology of experience where our whole life is just time and energy. Two most valuable resources that we have as human beings are time and energy. Our life is just a manifestation of energy through time. But then a lot of time and energy gets wasted because we're not using it particularly skillfully. So we can save time and save energy, protect and preserve time energy by engaging these virtues and making the moment meaningful. So it's like precious time and energy is used in a more skillful, wholesome, helpful, healthy way for our well-being, for the well-being of others, our relationships with them, and again, the world at large. And certainly, the more we're engaging these qualities, the less we're going to be caught up in self-centeredness, ego-centeredness, wasting time, wasting energy, the more for me type of approach. We engage more of a selfless approach that's more a sense of helping and connecting with community, with the world, with not just humanity, but nature, all the flora, fauna, trees, animals, insects as well. We become a benevolent force for good. So it becomes a really worthwhile practice. Thirdly, the third aspect in appreciating these 10 paramita is that these are virtues that lead to full spiritual enlightenment, full and final freedom. Over the course of the 45 years of the Buddha's teaching, he mentioned many of these qualities on many occasions, and also the fact that he embodied these qualities fully. And it was only sort of after the Buddha had passed away that monastics, monks, nuns were reflecting. So what made the Buddha more significant than, say, other monastics, people, not even monastics, that are fully enlightened? And it was seen that the Buddha had actually developed these 10 spiritual virtues to a great amount. And so he was able to teach well, express teachings well, connect with people. So he embodied and radiated these 10 particular virtues. I know that in Mahayana Buddhism, they emphasize 6. In Theravada Buddhism, they emphasize 10. Certainly there's the six that are emphasized, there's overlap with some that then flow into more the individual 10 spoken about in Theravada Buddhism. But the Buddha spoke about these virtues as really significant to develop, to use for the purpose of enlightenment. So the third appreciation is by developing these, we're developing fundamental elements, virtues, values that lead to full, complete spiritual enlightenment. Even and particularly in Mahayana Buddhism, where they see that one of the aspirations is to not just be enlightened, but maybe even in many sort of in time in the future to actually become a Buddha. And a Buddha has developed these qualities to a great degree and has more ability to connect and teach and share and make a difference. And so that they're emphasized even in that sense, a sense of being a bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is a being aspiring towards bodhi, enlightenment, and developing, making it a thing to develop, particularly these 10 virtues and values. Obviously, they don't need to be developed to the perfection point for full enlightenment, which is as expressed in Theravada Buddhism, but they can be made a real focus. And interestingly, there's a collection of teachings, stories in the Buddha's discourses, collection of teachings. They're called the Jataka tales. Has anyone read any Jataka tales? So Jataka means birth. They're Jatika, they're birth tales, and they're used more as like a story, a fable, a story with a meaning. And so the Buddha supposedly recounted these stories as a teaching point, and he would say that in a previous life, before I took my last birth as Siddhartha Gautama and then realized enlightenment and became a Buddha, I had a birth. At that time, I was this person, or I was this animal, this deer living in this forest, and I aspired to develop this particular quality. And so, recounting his experience of using his whole life in that particular life or incarnation for developing generosity or developing renunciation or developing great energy. So they're sort of nice stories. Watch what you sort of maybe could tell a child and say, wow, that's really wonderful. And the king of the deer was able to save the other deers by facing up to the huntsman and showing great strength and bravery. And the huntsman was overcome with sort of grief at what he was planning to do with the deer shooting arrows and so forth. And the deer saved the lives of the herd. So little stories like that. So often the paramita, and it's talking about the 10 paramita, there's sort of stories that nourish the heart and certainly can be used for teaching children about the importance of these particular virtues. But certainly they're virtues that lead to full, complete spiritual enlightenment. So these are three ways in which we can develop a type of an approach and attitude, how to make use of these. Certainly to make the moment meaningful. In this moment, I'm going to resource equanimity rather than reacting. I'm going to be calm and composed. Or the ecology of experience. I'm not going to waste my time and waste energy getting distressed, getting upset. I'm going to develop these qualities and make use of this experience. And then thirdly, see that we're developing our spiritual practice by engaging them, which helps to make life easier. Certainly, the more we use them, the more we're reducing the opposite of them. So they all would have an opposite as well as a quality. And life does get easier, less stress, less angst, less suffering, more ease, more joy, more well-being. And certainly I think that's what most people want. Sense of, yes, what I want is to be happy. Well, this is where real happiness is, in developing these great virtues and qualities. So 3 months, 3 months to look into them, understand them, even learn them off by heart. So at the end of the 3 months, you go, yes, John, I've learnt them. Dana, Sila, Nekkhama, Panya, Virya, Kanti, Satya, Adhitthana, Metta, Upekkha in Pali or in English. I actually find it easier to remember them in Pali. um, and to use them, talk about them, share them with others. The set of cards that you've got, um, so that you can use those as sort of a reminder. Set up a card today. I'm going to focus on patience because I'm meeting the in-laws. Or today I'm going to focus on energy because it's Thursday and I'm already run down, but focus on rousing energy, doing what needs to be done, and as a sort of a reminder for yourself. So make use of the little cards, and also with the course notes after each of the I think 9 sessions. There's some questions that you can sort of look into and answer for yourself as well. So it can be worthwhile to print them off and to read them, underline things, be able to highlight things, answer questions, make it meaningful for yourself. And over the course of our various retreat days, the 4 sessions, I'll give a bit of a reminder just in case you miss out a particular Sunday, a bit of a reminder. And we're filming this so that Brendan will be able to put up the video clip so that you can, if you're not here for a session, then you can actually have a look. Or if you were here and want to be reminded, then that's good as well. So make use of this block of time, 3 months, as a special, significant, spiritual, sacred time of retreat. In a way, it's like the challenge is to have a retreat period that's not away from what you're normally doing, but the retreat becomes a special approach, more of a retreat psychologically, retreating from engaging through greed, anger, ignorance, fear, frustration, and so forth. And so moving towards kindness and generosity and wisdom and so forth. That's what a real retreat is. It's within. And even if you're still, at home as usual, at work as usual, but you're on a retreat period. So extra mindful, extra aware, and engaging these spiritual virtues. So that our sessions are morning up until 12:30. So we'll have some periods of sitting meditation, some walking meditation. I'll be talking about the 3 virtues this morning. That'll be Dana, Sila, Nekkhama. So generosity, morality, and renunciation or letting go. And a bit of time for some questions and any discussion that we can have as well. We'll also have a little break, probably for about 15 minutes, about 11:30, bit of a tea break, and then we'll be finishing up at 12:30. Sounds okay? Good, good. Well, let's settle in with our meditation. We'll do 30 minutes of sitting meditation, and then we'll do 30 minutes of walking meditation, come back in and do a bit more sitting meditation, and that'll be then leading up to having a bit of a tea break. If you need to stretch your legs for a moment, stand and stretch. We're sitting for 30 minutes. So having established a comfortable sitting position, aligning our body with some degree of symmetry, balance, poise, helping to enable an inner mindful presence. Our eyes gently closed, helping to bring awareness within. And having our initial deep, relaxing, letting go breath. Using the outgoing breath to carry away any stress tension that may have gathered in our body in the process of arriving here this morning. So breathing out, relaxing, releasing, letting go. Letting go of issues, worries, concerns. Letting go of roles and responsibilities. Giving ourselves the gift of being here. Being here, being aware in the present, being alert. Meditation is a gift to be present, enabling some outer and inner stillness, some outer and inner silence, and inner mental spaciousness. Appreciating also this gift to ourselves also becomes our gift to others. And for the purposes of our meditation, we can use the reference points of our breath, present moment, experience of breathing, bringing the mind to bear onto the sensation of the inflow, outflow of each naturally occurring breath. But before focusing on the breath, just sensing, feeling our body sitting here, bringing the mind into the body, also the body in our mind, sensing, feeling our body sitting, feeling our feet connecting with the floor, feeling our body connecting with the chair, cushion or meditation stool. Feeling our hands resting in our lap, making sure they feel comfortable, adjusting them if we need to. Relaxing the abdomen belly area, softening the belly, relaxing the chest area, feeling the soothing, subtle movement, shoulders, chest, abdomen, belly as the body breathes. Maybe also noticing our face, even feeling some degree of the air connecting with our face. And also noticing subtle light coming in through our closed eyelids. And even looking into that lightness, brightness, a forward focused gaze into the space in front, into that lightness, brightness or blankness. And maybe a few background sounds, but we don't need to be distracted or disturbed by those. The same with the internal mental sight or sounds of thoughts, determining to not engage into the activity of thinking, but rather choosing to bring our attention to the breath. Wherever we feel the breath the most, maybe at the nose nostril area, directing attention, sustaining attention. Feeling that soothing inflow, outflow, sensation. Receiving the gift of life with the in-breath. And then mindfully returning that gift to the space around with the out-breath. Feeling each breath, looking into the lightness, brightness through the closed eyes, using a mental word or two, a mantra in the mind if it's helpful, whatever words might feel right, such as calm on the in-breath, ease on the out-breath, calm, ease, calm, ease, calm, ease. Exercising attention, developing focus, leading to inner calm, clarity, peace, and presence. Simply sitting, sensing, savoring the moment through each mindful breath, mind and body aligned in the present. Be sitting, being, breathing, knowing, each mindful breath nurturing, nourishing mind, body, and being. Now, just a few minutes left in the meditation, maintaining this mindful focus, feeling and knowing each breath, allowing the mind to manifest calm, clarity, peace, and presence. Or just before ending this meditation, inwardly reminding ourselves to try and sustain as much of this calm, mindful focus, keeping that going on into the ongoing moments, minutes, hours of the day and evening. And to end the meditation, just taking a deep breath and slowly opening our eyes to finish. So we can mindfully continue with our meditation in the posture of walking. If you prefer to keep sitting, that's fine. Or to go out and walk for a bit and then come back in again. But we can do have a 30-minute time for walking meditation for those that want to do some walking, finding a space outside, either side of the house, down the front, or down in the car park. not on the roadway that goes through the property here, because the neighbors sometimes go fast down the hill. Taking a distance of about 20 paces, so between, say, 10 to 15 meters, and just eyes open, looking down towards the ground, hands composed in front or behind, and then mindfully stepping sort of half our normal walking pace. And in the mind, if you like, you can say left, right, left, right, or even lifting, placing, lifting, placing, lifting, placing. Or if you slow the walk down a bit even further, lifting, moving, placing, lifting, moving, placing. So feeling the movement of the walking, particularly the legs, lower legs, and particularly the feet. So rather than being focusing on one's breath, one's focusing on the movement and the placement of the feet. When we get to the end of the distance, 20 paces or so, just mindfully stopping, standing, checking if your mind's still present. If you have been thinking about something, just bring it back into the body. You feel a few breaths. Then when you're ready, mindfully turn around and then pace back again. Just pacing back and forwards, which is a formal walking meditation. It's not so much walking down the road, it's more just a short distance, pacing back and forth, which can be just a good break from just the sitting. Also, some people find it easier to focus, collect the mind with the walk, and it's a bit more of a gross activity. And also, if the mind is a bit dull, sort of sleepy, walking can be good. Also, if the mind is sort of over energetic, a bit sort of stressed, the walking can help to pace out some of that energy as well. So it's a very healthy, practical way of cultivating clarity, concentration, and some peace in being grounded. I'll ring these chimes at 11:30 when it's time to sort of mindfully come in again. So mindfully just come in, and then we'll go into some sitting meditation. So we're gathering this momentum of mindfulness through sitting, as we've done, some walking, and then some more sitting. And then we'll have a little bit of a tea break, and then some further reflections around the 10 Paramita, specifically the first three. So please enjoy some walking outside, or continuing sitting if you wish to. So settling down into our meditation, taking time to pause, become present, breathing out any stress, tension, relaxing awareness into the sitting posture. Feeling the body sitting, feeling the subtle movement of the body as it breathes, the gentle rising, falling, shoulders, chest, abdomen. Letting the mind settle into this calm, composure, collected presence, the present moment. Feeling the inflow, outflow sensation of each breath, each soothing, nourishing, life-giving breath. Collecting mind-body energy, And bringing attention to the inflow, outflow of the breath. Developing sustained attention. A focused awareness. A collectedness of mind. The Buddhist word samadhi. Collectedness, composure, concentration. Mind and body aligned in the present. Settling into presence and peace, inner joy and well-being, a sense of contentment. Here, now, knowing. Moment to moment knowing, particularly each life-giving breath. Feeling each breath, looking into the lightness, brightness through the closed eyelids, and using a mental word, one or two, in the mind, with the breath, the in-breath, the out-breath. Enabling this inner calm ease. just a few minutes left in the meditation, being extra mindful to be aware and present, feeling and savoring each breath in each moment, developing calm, clarity, peace and presence. Now, just before ending this meditation, inwardly reminding ourselves to try and sustain as much of this calm, mindful focus, keeping that going on into the ongoing moments, minutes, hours of the day and evening. And to end the meditation, just taking a deep breath and slowly opening our eyes to finish. So how are we feeling now? Okay. Calm? Better? So let's take a break for maybe 15 minutes. Have a cup of tea or a coffee. There's milk in the fridge. There's biscuits there as well. And I'll again ring the gong, the bell. It's time to come in. So enjoy a bit of space outside, some sunshine, have a little bit of a chat with someone else if you wish. Make a new friend and see you in about 15 minutes. So we feel a bit more refreshed now, a bit more energized. Absorb a bit of sunlight, solar power. The paramita are, again, wonderful virtues. And the more we practice them, the more we appreciate them as a way of being, a way of relating, a way of engaging into life. In many ways, they become a very full practice, spiritual practice in themselves, practice of both engaging and relating from the paramita, these spiritual virtues. In a way, they're also like blessings. So when we're engaging, relating from these virtues and values, it's like a blessing for ourselves, it's a blessing for others, as opposed to their opposite, that would be a cause of stress and upset and reaction and conflict. And so, as I said earlier, the world needs more people that are engaging and behaving from these virtues. And they stand as virtues, qualities, blessings that one doesn't need to necessarily see oneself as a Buddhist to be practicing them. They're good virtues, qualities for all human beings, decent human beings to engage upon. So that in this way it becomes important to know what they are, to remind oneself of them. So just as a reminder, with the English translation, so of the 10, we have dana, which is the practice of generosity, liberality, giving, sharing. The next one is sila, which, again, finding a good word for sila, morality, conscious conduct, non-harming. Nekkhama, so that, again, there's a few words for that: relinquishment or renunciation or letting go, or even living simply. Panya, number 4, wisdom. Wisdom's a fairly good word that describes panya. The next one, virya, which is energy, effort, motivation. Number 6 is khanti, patience or forbearance. Number 7, satya, honesty, truthfulness. Number 8, adhitthana, commitment or resolve. Number 9 is metta, kindness, loving kindness, friendliness. And number 10, upekkha, equanimity, maintaining equilibrium or equipoise. So they all engage qualities of mind, heart, but they also flow into thoughts, mental states, emotion, and behaviors. So they cover mind, speech, and body. When I was a Buddhist monk, I often remind myself of that experience, 11 years of monastic life. And I would say that my meditation developed more not being a monk than when I was a monk. Generally, when you're practicing meditation, it's said that conditions need to be right for practicing meditation. But even though, yes, we practice meditation every day, sometimes long hours, once a week. In Thailand, we practice meditation all night. But I found that I have better meditation in these sorts of environments where the temperature's just right, um, don't feel hungry, there's no mosquitoes, one's not sick with malaria or typhus or some rotting feet from being in the war, like the monastery that I was in. It's called Wat Bananachat, the International Forest Monastery, northeast Thailand, um, otherwise called Bung Wai Forest Monastery. And Bung Wai means rattan swamp. And so for 3 months it would rain, and you'd be walking around in constant water. So your feet would go rotten. It was always raining. You'd never dry the robes out. So that the conditions were quite challenging, particularly for quietening the mind and developing meditation. So I found in England and Switzerland, where I later spent time as a monk, the meditation developed better because the mind was a bit more at ease, less sort of pain, discomfort, illness happening in the body. And certainly even after being a monk, developing meditation, body's more comfortable, mind's more settled. But the 11 years of monastic life, I see it mainly as developing these ten virtues. So, developing patience or commitment or letting go or maintaining sort of calm equipoise, which are really, really important qualities. And so developing like an inner resource, an inner bank account of these qualities that then I was able to use in regular life, coming back from being in the monastery and as a mature age student, going to university and being able to focus and not get caught up in party life and focus and commitment and energy, and so that they certainly those qualities certainly help me to make up for lost time in a way that um, being in the monastery, not earning any money, not developing any trade, so to speak, apart from maybe teaching meditation. But uh, I do have fond memories of going to a large monastery in Northern California, just north of San Francisco City. I was living in England at the time as a monk, and the monks and nuns there, a certain group of us were invited to go to this monastery called City of 10,000 Buddhas in Talmadge, north of San Francisco. And it was a Chan monastery. The meditation master there was called Master Hua. Chinese, he didn't speak any English, and he had lots of American monks and nun students, Chinese monks and nun students. The monastery literally had 10,000 Buddha images in it. They're often like there are small ones this size in boxes. And the monks told us that it would take more dynamite to blow up their monastery than the city of San Francisco, because their monastery was actually the state penitentiary for the criminally insane, which the Reagan government put all the criminals out on the streets, save some money. And so the Chinese community bought it to make it into a monastery. The monastery was so big, this huge, big prison. The monks had to drive around in cars to get to various places in the monastery, and they literally lived in cells. Like there was like 50 centimeter solid walls concrete walls of their cells with big steel doors. But Master Wa, he'd often have these quotes or these sort of phrases or terms. And I remember one of his quotes was, "Everything's a test to see what you will do. Mistaking what's before your eyes, you have to start anew." So that's the English translation. So everything's a test, opportunity to see what you will do. Mistaking what's before your eyes, you have to start anew again and again and again and again until you get the experience right. So I could see that life, certainly as a monastic and certainly for lay people, it's about here's an opportunity, or this is happening. I see it in the right way, right view, as an opportunity for engaging spiritual virtues, developing these qualities, clarity, purity of mind, purity of heart. And in that way, life becomes not just, or maybe sometimes life is woeful, but you can turn it into workable and then even into wonderful through the virtues of engaging this opportunity. So from blight to blessing, so to speak, from woeful to workable to wonderful. So everything's a test to see what you will do. Mistaking what's before your eyes, you have to start anew. Like the movie Groundhog Day, being able to perfect the day by engaging lots of qualities, and then being able to be freed from that sort of cycle of being caught up. And that's where these spiritual qualities come in to really make use of them. The first three I thought to look into today with the time we've got left, and then the following three retreat days we'll have a look at another, I think two and then one. It's the last week. The last session will have metta and upekkha, and then so the next two will do three as well. No, 3 today, 4, 5, 3 and 2. But we'll see how we go. And as qualities, it's important for yourself to be aware of the 10, so that during the day, during the week, during the months of the Vassa period, the 3 months, you're engaging all of them, not just working on, say, the 3 or the 2 that we might have spoken about in the retreat day. So being aware of all of them and engaging what you need to make the moment meaningful. So the first 3, dana, sila, and nekkhama. Dana as generosity, as sharing, as a sense of liberality. And it's whilst there's no significant order to these 10 virtues or values or blessings, dana, generosity, is a really good place to start, because it's something which everybody appreciates, both in terms of the joy that comes from giving, or the joy that comes from receiving something that's been given to us. Everybody appreciates that. And it's something which it's easy to do. It's easy to find a way in which we can be thoughtful, be considerate, connect with someone else through generosity, through giving, through sharing. There's a lovely quote. I think I put it in here, maybe not. It's actually in this book, which I came across after I'd already put these notes together about 15 years ago. The book's called Parami, and it's by Ajahn Sucitto, who's an English Buddhist monk. I spent time with him when I was in the monastery in England. And I'll even see if this is available online and then send out the link to it. So a lot of the books written by the monks and nuns and published are available as ebooks. But there's a lovely quote on the benefit of generosity. So the Buddha said, "If people only knew, as I do, the results of giving and sharing, they wouldn't eat without having given, nor would their minds get stained with selfishness. Even if it was their last bite, they would eat it without they wouldn't eat it without having shared it. if there was someone who could receive their gift, even if it's your pet dog or cat. So the benefit of giving is so wonderful. A sense of developing, yes, wholesome states of mind, speech, action, and also the good karma of giving, being generous, developing the what's called punya or merit. In a way, we could say our life we live and abide according to our merits. And so, one of the great ways of making merit is to do good through being generous. And in this, it's not just, okay, I can give some food or I can give a monetary donation, but sometimes it's more about giving one's time or giving one's energy, listening, giving counsel, giving advice, a few words of wisdom. That can be a great gift and can go a long way. Sometimes people say to me that I haven't sort of met up with for years. They contact me and say, "Oh, John, it's I came and saw you for some psychology sessions 10, 15 years ago, and I remember you always said this to me, and I've always remembered and always used it, and I tell other people about it as well, some sort of point of wisdom." So sometimes even just some wise words can go a long way to helping others. So the benefit of generosity is such that it's a movement away from self-centeredness, being caught up and concerned about oneself. It's connecting with others. In a way, we could also say that the fact that we sit here today is because of generosity. Sort of the many sort of connections of generosity that I survived for 11 years from the generosity of other people. People would offer me a meal each day, some cloth for robes, shelter. Um, Buddhism exists because of the generosity of other people, and also the generosity of the monks to teach and share and offer wise counsel. So Buddhism is very much a tradition of giving and sharing and caring through this virtue of dana. And even like the fact of Hannah and I sharing our space here, Thursday night meditation group and Sunday sessions. But there's a great joy that comes in that. Great joy being able to share in this way that nourishes one's own being. Certainly, I get nourished by being able to share and connect, and it flows on. If you can go back into your day, back into your life, and you feel that you're more calmer and a bit wiser, and sharing that with others, so people that aren't even here benefit from the flow on of the gifts. So think about how you can, over the course of the Vassa retreat, emphasize and exercise that quality of generosity, quality of giving and sharing, even if it's sharing of your time a bit more. A phone call. Sometimes I remind guys that come and see me in my capacity as a psychologist, when did you last phone your mother? And don't wait for her to call you. You give her a call, not just on her birthday or Mother's Day or Christmas. Give her a call. So I call my mother every week, 5 o'clock. She's sitting by the phone waiting for my call. It's my gift. um, so the wonderful gift of dana, generosity, connecting with others, community works well when people are generous, when people support each other, creates community, the sense of connection. And it flows into the second virtue, which is Sila, translating Sila as morality. Ajahn Sujito in his book translates it as non-harming. So morality, ethics, non-harming. And certainly the world needs more of that, because the opposite of morality, immorality, being immoral, lack of virtue, being virtuous, a lack of goodness and wholesomeness, creates more stress and more unease, and people can't relax. If the fact that like we all in being here, we're observing a sense of morality being here, so that you can park your shoes out the front and know that no one's going to walk off with them, steal your shoes, because you have a sense that people are good people that come and do meditation. They're moral people. No one's going to steal my shoes. I'm not going to steal anyone's shoes, and though it has happened at times that people go out and where are my shoes? Remember the meditation group I had in Sydney, sometimes people would find someone's walked off in their shoes. There's another pair of shoes that looks like theirs, but someone maybe didn't look well enough, and oh, we're wearing the same sort of Crocs, and to wait till next week for them to come back, or an umbrella. Sometimes people think, oh, that's my umbrella, but no, your umbrella was over there, remember? So it does happen, but it's about the intention, no intention to steal. So morality helps people to feel relaxed, to be able to connect and trust as well. Any worthwhile relationship requires morality, because if there's not that sense of morality and trust and confidence, then people are not going to open up, not going to share, not going to connect, and probably the relationship is going to sort of come apart. And that's whether it's an intimate relationship, familial relationship, collegial relationship, business relationship, or other. There needs to be that morality in relationships for them to be sustainable and to be strong. Even by being moral, we're being generous. We're sort of supporting and giving of our morality into a situation. I'm going to be moral, be good, not take advantage of a situation. That's also a gift as well, which also then even involves the third quality, which is Nekkhama. Nekkhama, which certainly spiritual life, monastic life does involve relinquishment, renouncing, letting go, living more simply. But we don't necessarily need to be living in a monastery to practice renunciation. Even again on the Vassa Retreat, you might go, okay, well, I'm going to practice some renunciation. I'm going to get up and renounce that extra 30 or 40 minutes of sleep to do my meditation early in the morning. So it's a letting go. It might be that, okay, for the Vassa Retreat, I'm going to forego the evening dessert. I've had enough chocolate and ice cream in my life. I can at least forego dessert for the 3-month period. Maybe your partner can have your lot. Give it to the kids, but see what you can do about letting go and living a little bit more simply. Some little practice that you might engage upon for the 3 months. It can be, again, it's also a gift. My gift is to not always have the last piece of pizza, or my gift is to always let others take whatever first. So a sense of the joy that comes from that, the joy of renunciation. I think that we all can probably live a little bit more simply than what we already are, which can lead to less complexity and less complications, even less confusion in life. It's amazing how very easily the life 21st century westernized society life can get more complex and confusing and even at times conflictual, because we're not engaging in simplicity. Probably, we're all old enough to remember that decades ago when we were children, life was a lot simpler. Were we less happy? Maybe we were more happy. The complexities lead to more sort of even confusion. Which one shall I choose? I grew up with we had a phone in our house. Some households didn't have phones, but we had a black Bakelite phone dial, and it was simple. It's a phone that Telecom Australia sort of issued. But these days, just with the phone, which I need to get a new phone. Do I need a new phone? Maybe that's good for some upgrades. So get a new phone, and which one shall I get? And even if it was like, I'll get an iPhone, which iPhone shall I get? And what plan shall I get? And life gets more complex and more confusing. So see where there is the capacity to renounce, let go, even in meditation. Even these three virtues of dana, sila, nekkhama, we're practicing them in meditation. So the gift to our mind body of meditation, gift to our sense of self, of some peace and some calmness, some clarity, the gift to others that we engage through. If I meditate, I'm calmer, more mindful, less stressed, more at ease, which is a gift to others. Also in that, it's whilst we're practicing meditation, we're not thinking anything horrible. Some nice thoughts, mental states, even no thoughts, and just sitting still is not sort of engaging in anything immoral. So that the morality of sitting meditation, and also the relinquishment. Whilst one's sitting in meditation, you're relinquishing speaking and physical behaviors and doing other things, engaging in other stuff. So there's a sense of relinquishment or letting go, living simply in whilst you're meditating. So all the virtues, all the paramita can be engaged and developed within the context of a session of meditation. But the beauty of them is that they can flow on into interactions, actions in what we do in our day-to-day life. And that's the sort of the main arena for developing them. If life was really easy, if everyone was really pleasant, if the world was a heaven realm, it'd be very difficult to develop these qualities. But life is not like that. The world is not like that. So we get a chance to grow in these qualities to help us maintain calm, composure, equipoise, and do what is wholesome and right and skillful. So that's where they come into worth, the fact that we can use these to enhance the quality of our life and the lives of others through these practices. Any sort of particular questions or comments that you might have about the paramita in general, or specifically the first three: generosity, morality, and relinquishment, letting go? Brendan?
Yeah, John, I think all the paramitas are extremely important. I think some are easier to understand than others. So, for example, generosity, morality, I think that's easy for people to understand. Okay, yeah, should be more generous, should be more moral. I think the relinquishment is one, that probably most people really struggle with. At least I have. And I think I've been developing different levels of understanding of the importance of it over time. So, as an example, initially, giving up alcohol was a big one for me. And I thought that was pretty significant, and I could see the importance of it because of the way that alcohol affects us and can affect people around us. So, found that one not too difficult to understand, but relinquishing other things have been harder.
Sure.
And harder to see the importance of it. But the connection I guess I'm starting to make is because of craving leading to suffering. The ability to relinquish and say no to certain desires is important, because then it gives us freedom from craving, from those desires.
Sure. Yeah.
And in a world where, you know, the norm is freedom of your desires, so do whatever you desire, you know, that ability to, I guess, relinquish those desires and recognize them and see the danger in them. That's something that people don't understand, I think. So the more I do start to understand that, the more importance and weight, I guess, that carries for me. So I now see it as a really, really important thing to incorporate.
And that's where the quote from the Buddha in the Dhammapada, where he says, it's wisdom that sees the benefit of letting go of a lesser happiness to realize a higher happiness, happiness of freedom and ease. So letting go of the happiness that might come from eating that or buying that or going there or having that or whatever. So letting go of that, renunciation, and having peace of mind and contentment, or ultimate peace, enlightenment. It's wisdom that sees the benefit of that. Even another experience when I was a Buddhist monk, when I was in Thailand at Wat Banana Chat, the practice was that in the mornings, particularly in the dry season, we would, before having the meal, one hasn't eaten for 24 hours and you've walked an arm's round to various villages to collect rice, which takes an hour or two, and you come back and then you sweep the paths, the dirt paths, and sweep the leaves in the dry season. The leaves dry out, so there's a lot of leaves coming out of the trees, and you'd sweep them onto the side. And particularly in the dry, cold season, the winds would blow through, so you tie and you sweep with these big bamboo brooms. The path probably about 3 meters wide, and you get to the end of the path, the wind blows, and all the leaves are back on the path. So I thought too that there's a better option, and I went up to the abbot and I said, Venerable Sir, I have a suggestion. Why don't we sweep the leaves into a heap, put them in a wheelbarrow, take them away and burn them. Then if the wind comes through, it's not going to put the leaves back on the path. He said, no, we don't do that. That's not the practice. It's a really good idea. We don't do that. So I had to let go of my really good idea, my view that I knew better, and that they were practicing something tradition that what's the point of holding onto that one? It's, you know, that was the practice. That's how you do it. And if you have an opinion, you watch your mind, and you can either sweep and be sort of really angry, what a waste of time, what a waste of my energy, or just let go. This is how we do it here. Just let go and enjoy the sweeping and develop patience and develop a sense of just relinquishment. And so I saw that there was lots of things that when I was in the monastery, I could see that this is not practical, or this is not really helpful, or why do we do it like this? But I said, patience, letting go, putting in effort, and so forth, developing virtues.
If you burn all the leaves, you can't practice sweeping the leaves because they're not there.
That's right.
Need them to be there.
If you burn all the leaves, then we can just sit meditation. No, we don't do that.
I think there's a temptation with relinquishment. You know, maybe some of us come from Catholic backgrounds and we have Lent, but it kind of, there's an end point and you take up that habit again. Or so I'm wondering, you know, for myself in the practice of relinquishment, it will be seeing past the 3 months and seeing that this needs to be a virtue that's not just defined by the wet season or the Lent or but maybe having that time frame helps you get that discipline.
And there'll be some things, Kylie, that you might go, okay, for 3 months I'm going to do this, or say not do something, and it's not necessarily a bad thing that you might be sort of engaging upon or doing, but and then at the end of the 3 months, it's like, well, it might be like, well, Yeah, I read three or four books at one time, but in the 3 months, I'm going to just focus on one book at a time. I'm going to finish this book before I go on to the next one. There's nothing immoral either way, but you may then go, okay, well, I can just now go back to reading 3 books at the same time, or I might, no, that's a really good practice. I'm going to make that just part of my self-definition is I only read one book at a time until I finished it, then I go on to the next one. So you get to choose.
So a little bit like experimenting, feeling into something.
Yeah.
Does that bring that some of the other qualities or virtues?
Yeah, so make it work for you. It's just like because you're growing and developing the qualities within you and also your sense of being. In a way, these become expressions of personality as well. Again, the Buddha's saying human beings are the unfinished creature, so that yes, we're developing even our personality through these. You might even go, well, I'd like to be seen as more of a patient person. So I'm going to focus on patience and down the track, people say, oh yeah, well, he or she very patient. Then you might say, well, I wasn't always until I did the Vassa Retreat. Even with these 10, they can be seen as personality traits. So even like self-definition, you might say, well, yes, I'm a more of a this sort of person, and my brother's more of a this sort of a person as qualities. Or you'd say, I'd like to be more of a generous person, so I'm going to work on that as a particular focus point. Loretta?
It's Loretta. Being in private practice, I sometimes struggle with the offering of, wisdom, Buddhist perspectives, and so forth, so on. But I'm accepting money for that time, and that. So, in one sense, yes, I'm being generous, and so forth, so on. But then people pay me for that time and that wisdom, and I wonder how does that sit within the dana and generosity, and that's always a little bit uncomfortable for me. But then I know I too need to live. And
Of course, yeah.
So
You're certainly in. If you were a Buddhist nun, then you maybe even saying some of the same things that you might be saying to people and listening and so forth, but people might bring you your meal, or they might say, "Can I pay your electricity bill?" They maybe wouldn't be giving you money, but they still would be. They'd be generous from your generosity, and so certainly in the work that we do as a therapist, it makes it easier for people to use money to pay for something which they've got from you. But at the same time, monks and nuns do need to survive, so people will pay something in some sort of a way to make sort of their livelihood functional. So and probably you might give priceless advice or counsel to somebody. They will pay you a set fee, but the advice might save them thousands of dollars or so forth.
John, I was going to say, to me, that's just practicing right livelihood.
Yes.
You're on the path, and that's what the Buddha encouraged. So, you're earning a living, but you're doing it in a way that is helpful to others. Yeah, instead of wrong livelihood, which is, I manufacture weapons, or, I earn a livelihood in a way that can cause harm to others. So you're doing the opposite of that.
Yeah.
John. While we were sitting earlier here, I noticed and felt the stillness and the silence that was generated here, which is beautiful. And that was very nourishing. And that was obviously a form of generosity that we share, just by sitting.
Mm,
So thank you.
Thank you.
It's sort of a wonderful way of expressing the gift of, in a way, nothing. Silence is just the absence of sound, and stillness is the absence of movement, and a sense of stability, lack of sort of things wobbling. So even just in coming together, we're offering each other something quite special, a gift that is rare in the world. Have like 20 people sitting together and just their silence and sense of peace.
I felt that as well. I felt an energy in the room. So I felt that stillness, but also just there's an energy that everybody is sharing.
Yeah. So it's good to be aware of that and remind oneself of it. Generate it at home for yourself. And then also when you come back here or Thursday night or the next Sunday session, it's like, just bring the stillness and bring the sort of the peace and share in it. Like this shared gift. Special. To end, let's do just sit for a couple of minutes, and we'll also do a dedication of merit, a gift of good energy, merit. So again, taking this time to sit, to settling into the present. The eyes gently closed, bringing awareness within, breathing out any stress, tension, coming back to stillness. Stillness, silence, stability, serenity. Coming back to peace. The true nature of the mind has this inner stillness and peace. When the mind is settled, free from concerns and worries, manifesting as peace. Breathing in and breathing out. And feeling a sense of ease, contentment, and joy. Joy in the possibility of entering the Vassa Retreat 2025, 3-month period, the full moon of July to the full moon of October, as a wonderful period of time to develop, deepen, define, refine our meditation practice. Meditation and living wisely, especially through the 10 spiritual virtues, the Paramita, the joy of this possibility, and especially with our Sunday sessions, feeling good in ourselves, for having given ourselves this opportunity, and whether we're sitting here or elsewhere, connecting online, feeling the joy within, creating wholesome karma, good energy, merit through this engagement, through this activity. And particularly also the possibility of sharing this good energy, this merit with others, the gift of merit. So if there is someone or a few people or a group in particular that you'd like to share the goodness we've generated with, then bringing them to mind, even visualizing them in the mind's eye, and giving this gift of good energy, of merit, whatever goodness, the merit that's come from our meditation practice this morning, we gift that to others. May they receive this gift of goodness. May their mind, heart be uplifted. May they be free from illness and issues. May they have great joy. And as we sit breathing into and out from our spiritual heart at the center of our chest, place where we feel, breathing in, breathing out this good energy, this good vibe to others. May they be well, happy, free from pain, issue, illness, living their life with joy. And then to everyone that's been part of this session this morning, a few people that needed to leave early, and even those that are again not physically here but connecting online, breathing out from our heart center this gift of good vibe to all of them as a shared gift. Whatever goodness has come from our meditation practice this morning, we share that with everyone that's been part of this collective, this group. May you receive this good energy, be well, happy, free from pain, issue, illness, living with joy. Breathing that energy out as a gift, and then as we breathe in, we receive into our heart center that same gift from everyone else, the shared experience, giving, receiving, sharing the good vibe feeling, sharing the merits. Whatever goodness and merit has come from our practice this morning, we share that with everyone that's been involved. May they be well, happy, free from pain, issue, illness, living their life well. Breathing out, giving, and breathing in, receiving that shared gift from others. Then lastly to ourselves, also giving our gift, the gift of merit to ourselves, a blessing to ourselves, and may I too be well, happy, free from pain, issue, illness, living my life well. May my life be a blessing to others. So sharing the gift of goodness with oneself. That joy within. Appreciating our efforts, our time here, sharing our time, energy, being part of this Vassa Retreat period. Feeling good in ourselves for what we've done. When you feel ready to end this brief meditation, just taking a deep breath and slowly opening our eyes to finish. Thank you for sharing your presence this morning. Thank you for being here, making the Vassa Retreat happen. So do take what you've heard and practiced and make use of it in the days, in the weeks, in the months that continue. Those of you that didn't get the retreat notes, who are those people that didn't get the retreat notes? Sam? Scott, did you get the retreat notes? You got them? And Mark, you didn't get them?
Yes.
You got them? Okay, good, good. And if you can, print the notes out and have a look and read them, sort of get out some of the questions, make the whole sort of period a wonderful, special time. And hope to see you either on a Thursday night or certainly the next Sunday session if you can make it. So thanks for coming and thanks for your generosity as well. And we'll see you next time. Good.